Hello, this is FJ back with the EU4 Anbennar. Today we are continuing with the Konolkhatep campaign. Last episode we killed the Gunpowder Zaz, restored the realm, and now we have no more major disasters to deal with. It is all uphill from here. We have Horutep, who is Norutep, Konolkhatep come. The gnolls cackling, scattered on the wind like her ashes. The Slayer's grotesque musket arm, silent, never to spew hellfire again. The demon's ire, smoldering, seething, yet fading with their radiant demise. Stillness pervades the scarred lands and innumerable battlefields of the dead, and across Ketarata the putrid green flames the Zabacolt's great revelry shimmers and dies. As Neverkar, no. As Horutep glances at his soot-covered prosthetic, he peers past his gilded fingers to his null and human faithful, as they pray to his solar visage. Pausing for a moment, he shuts his eyes before turning his nose to the horizon. Breathing deeply, he commands the whirling wind around him to calm as he exhales, and open his eyes to greet the gentle copper light creeping over the horizon. A new dawn, a new era, one shaped by Horutep. Alright. So we need the 5 cities of Ketarata done. Okay. That will be easy. And we can go ahead and not do that. What is this done? 1608. Yeah. Go ahead and throw that down. How much to upgrade this? Yeah, we can do that a few times. Yeah, we can do that actually. That will reduce the cost quite a lot actually. Here, we want to do that. Go ahead and full core this, since it is one of our primary cultures. Destroy the cult. Words from the past. Clerical ministers. Okay, we need to build another fort. Okay, we'll build one in... Does this have a fort? It does. Suppose we can build one here. When Elka had guided the ancient Ketaratans away from the tyrannical Bulwari god kings in ages past, he shirked his divine solar mantle to reside with us, with his persecuted people among the blasted dunes. When Niraket wept for her son's humility, he comforted his mother, sanctioning her tears into the mighty river that defined Ketarata's destiny. When invaders, whether Jin, Demirian, or even Null, sought his people's subjugation, he roused from idleness or slumber to rout the affronting foe. And yet time and time again his heritage has faltered beneath lapsing Ketar guidance, or so Horutep tells himself. The Null, reciting his greatest feats and adjusting his finest vestments, readies a single message for the first of the Ket. The faith must be bolstered lest history be repeated. All right. It was strange to see the temple from this perspective. Horutep had worshipped in the temple of Elkhet all his life, But before, he had always been looking up at the priests instead of down at the flock. The shadows thrown by the braziers made the room appear darker than it ever had before, and he had never seen so many looking at him with such anticipation as he wore the raiments of the priests. Horutep had once stood before Elkahet, but his audience with the great Ket seemed at this moment to only illustrate his inadequacy in the face of gods. Perhaps it was not too late to push this first sermon off to just another day. Just as Horutep was beginning to manufacture an urgent crisis of the realm, one of the devotees in robes showed up to him. Horutep, what did the great Ket say? His eyes were filled with admiration. How did you save our nation? How can we live in accordance with the will of Elkahet? The room filled with excitement. That was all they wanted to hear, what the god had told him in the story of the defeat of the Gunpowder Zaz? Horutep realized then, they were not here for him. They were here for the Ket, just as he was. It was not his job to give them meaning. The Ket were the source of meaning, and it was merely his job to transcribe it. He had been preparing for this task all his life. Horutep took a deep breath and began to tell them of Elkahet the Resurgent. His words ring with truth and justice. Tier 4 gov reform of Word of Horutep. That's pretty good. Alright, what else do I need to do? 10 barracks. That's not bad. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. King of Kings. O Horutep, King of Kings. There are many kings across the world, from Anbennar to the furthest regions of the storied East. These kings ruled varied subjects in possibly different lands, yet there is a similarity in what happens when each of these kings dons his crown. Each king, at least the ones worth mentioning, Horutep, knows that that moment has been given a responsibility beyond the material, that each of his subjects is like his own child. You are King of Kings, O Horutep. That means you are grandfather to all people of the world. They may shelter forever under your might and bask forever in your glory. What better fate could there be than that? Alright, so destroy the cult. Yeah. Buildings. Alright, time to take up more collections. Don't you guys love Horutep? Okay. What do we need here? Okay, this needs expanded infrastructure. Really need their cash anymore. Don't need admin all that much either, but I'll take a few admin points. Alright, and I think We have... do not think we have the thing to... Not that one. Take the extra morale. Damn, I really need admin ideas. Alright, so that is all the provinces converted. It is... Okay. You need to save cash to do that. No, I think we need to build one more barrack, don't we? That should satisfy it. I can seize some land. Let's hand out... we want to give this one, and that one. Core, that's core. Well, these are cored. I'll get the some more sorrow mains dealt with. Alright, and in terms of this... Alright, what does not have the autonomy? Couple of them. Alright. During the Dragon's Wake, the Bronze Lord scorched the sorrow for years before donning his human guise to reign over the burned Ketarata, exposing the true dragon's ability to polymorph to the world, and still ornery and vainglorious, instigated the Ketaratan Dragon Wars, conquering vast swaths of Bulwar. Only after vanishing in the battle against the Sand Demon of the Salahad did his meteoric reign come to an end. Millennia later, Akhehet's faithful believed the dragon to be Elkhehet incarnate and emulate his fiery tenets with unbridled zeal. Even when quarreling like bitter family, the sons and daughters of Elkhehet and Nirkhed both agree the Bronze Lord's worship extol a warmongering foreigner too self-conceited to rule. Troubled by Akhehet's lengthy history and unending procession of personas, Horutep prepares to handle the Bronze Lord's meddlesome games once and for all. Within Akhehet's Bronze Dragon Academy, Ketarata's newest steward must secure Akhehet's permission, or at least his indifference. Horutep stood outside the great temple in Akheta. It was a wretched and heretical place, and though Horutep wished to burn it down dearly, there were many of his subjects who thought of this Akhehet the Bronze as an object of worship rather than an object of mockery. Despite this, a summons from the dragon was not an everyday occurrence. Hours later, he was rethinking his decision to go to the temple. The temple of Akhehet was seemingly composed of infinite rooms. Horutep knew full well that the dragon was toying with him. Finally, Horutep reached the central room filled with gold and riches, but no dragon. Just when Horutep had determined that the summons were some form of juvenile power game and was preparing to leave, the horde began to quake. The horde burst into blue flames, and from the molten gold emerged a man seemingly carved from bronze. He was only a head taller than Horutep, but his presence filled the entire room. "Who dare disturbs the worship of my subjects?" Akhehet boomed. "I am Akhehet the Immortal, ruler of Ketarata, guardian of Aramul, father of the Ahadi." It appeared as though he was going to go on like this for a while. As Horutep made himself comfortable, he felt sympathy for the way he made all of his subjects stand to attention until the tribunes had finished reading off his list of titles. Horutep decided to occupy himself by seeing how many times he could throw a ruby scepter up in the air and catch it with his non-dominant paw. He had reached 255 repetitions when he noticed the dragon staring at him. "Not bad, Noel." Akhehet clasped his hands together. "But you still have not answered my question. Why do you disturb the worship of my subjects?" At this point, Horutep merely wished to go home. "There are two problems with your statement, mighty Akhehet. The first is that they are my subjects, not yours. The second is that I have not disturbed their worship. If you wanted to maintain their following, you should have considered instructing them to pray harder." The dragon's countenance twisted. Horutep thought to himself that his goading might have been unwise. As Horutep began preparing for a fight, the dragon burst out laughing. Finally, someone with a sense of humor. Akhehet held out his hand. "I am Akhehet the Bronze. We may dispense with formalities. We have much to discuss. Tell me, Noel, do you play the game of Ket?" Alright. Mighty companion to the bronze dragon. Okay. What is our mana regeneration like? I assume that the minus is probably to do with our what's it called? Our 30th simulacra. Okay, we can do that. Also, let me throw down centralization efforts over here. Alright, we can encourage development here. And it wants me to expand. The 5 cities of Koroshesh. Alright. Horutep is not the first to stand atop the mouth of the sorrow, but he shall be the last. The countless legends and fools that came before have attempted to carve their existence into lands in order to try and reach eternity. Yet time is all-consuming, and many of these great monuments stand as half-sunken, shattered visages, boundless and bare from years of neglect. To truly achieve what they failed to do, one must connect the present to their eternal past and lay the groundwork to forge an eternal future. Let all others behold our mighty works and despair. Alright. Horutep sat at the end of a great hall on a great throne, but he didn't feel very great. His tenure ruling as Nakad had, to this point, been taken up by resolving petty disputes between members of courts, poring over grain ledgers. Was he to be the first bureaucrat of Konolkhatep forever? It was enough to make one long for the days of the gunpowder Zaz. Horutep heaved a great sigh, and as if on cue, another coterie of advisors in ridiculous headwear, was it Horutep's imagination or did the hats grow more elaborate by the day, entered the throne room, carrying a pile of scrolls so large they could scarcely see in front of them to walk. No doubt they were all here for him to sign. Each of them crossed the room and knelt, and one of the scrolls dropped from its place on top of the pile in front of Horutep. He picked it up and began reading. The title of the scroll was the Military Reauthorization Decree of 734, where the bureaucrats no longer even bothering to change out the years on the rinse and repeat policies anymore. Unfortunately, one of his advisors chose to begin speaking. My Nakad, in your great wisdom, I know you see the importance of ensuring the military glory of Konolkhatep remains as eternal as you. For this reason, your humble counsel recommends. Horutep threw the scroll at him, and the wooden handle echoed off the advisor's skull with a satisfying thunk. Get out of here and take your moth-bitten paper with you, Horutep growled. Leave the scroll. The advisors scurried out, one of them doing his very best to keep back tears. Apparently, this was not how things were usually done in Ketarata. Horutep sat on his throne, stylus in hand. It would seem that reforms were needed. There was no audience for the rest of that day. When the advisors were not concussed entering the room the next morning, they were greeted by Horutep standing in front of his throne with the scrolls unfurled. He looked down at them and began to speak. Listen well, scribes. I am decreeing a reorganization of the legions. Its scope shall be as follows. Distribute his words to the nation. Excellent. Alright, hit that button a few times. Alright, here we are. Horutep. Alright, slave project. Where do I check the amount of slaves I have? Modassi. Alright, who is Sarand allied to? A lot of people. What are we like on tech? Fine. Alright. It is time to get back to work. Okay. So I'm going to make sure combat width is 30, so I want 32. Yep, 24, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, there we are. Rewarding loyalty. Modassi, Lessons of Demaria, Lessons of Ketarata. We'll do this one. And then we'll take that. Sasrumbat. And they're all going to be upset at me for a while because I have no mandate. This is my galley fleet. Yeah, we're gonna upgrade all those. Yeah, they can do that. Global trade, hurrah! Alright. I think we have how much? Minus 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, minus 8. Right. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, minus 8, and then an additional minus 9. Alright. We're gonna start drilling for at least a little bit. $48,000. Do the cheap ones. Alright. Let's get up to about 50,000 soldiers, and then we're gonna go really fight Sarand. 21 ducats. No, I don't really want to do that. We need a bunch of heavies. Will traders demand aid? No, pay the money. Alright, last one. We'll go ahead and pop a golden age too. Where else could I potentially do these? Create a bunch of gnolls. Alright. Tap slave projects. I don't even know where I check slave numbers. No modassi. Oh, there we are. 57. And that. Shocking secret. Attempted to disguise himself as a ket to infiltrate the sorrow. Spread among the populace. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, where are my ships? Take those two off, and then these guys can privateer in Everthiel. Okay. Getting more slaves, which is wonderful. 32, 20. And these guys need to privateer in here. Alright. Oh. Slave project. House of Golden Chains. Okay. this one? Pineport. Or Westport. Right. Excellent. And with this money, we go ahead and actually just force a tributary on them very quickly. Skill 2 advisor. Excellent. Okay. Need to do that. And we need those. Spare no expense. I want that. I want that. Because we fucking need governing capacity. Sure, we'll do that. Yep. Really shouldn't have broken free of me, Jadari. Doesn't make much sense. They haven't managed to convert a single province. Oh. Yeah. These guys can protect trade and the Mother Sorrow. Where did I send my... here? Alright. Hey, Jadari, just... you can give up. Just give up, my friend. You will save us both a lot of time. Alright, that come off. Okay. You know, since you made me come all the way over here, we're gonna take a shitload of money. I do love money. Alright. Excellent. Now we can build trade buildings, and we can bring this army right there. Let's take this army and move over here, and then we can take this army and move over here. Port that up. Alright. Jadari, where are you? Give me Let's get a nice mix of stuff going on. Highest is very small amount of liberty desire. No, it is ours and always will be. Although, actually, let's flip a bunch of these over to admin, because we're about to conquer a bunch of stuff. Slave projects. The Holy Road. Yes, raid. There is not a huge amount to raid for here, but yeah, I'd rather have it. And I'll do that conversion. It's basically the rest of the field stalkers converted, which is good. Raid 79. Free money for us. Our modassi provide us. Hold up. And then they need to come here. That money we can buy. Now let's go with 20 heavies. Alright, so that's our ginormous armies versus them. I'm gonna send our 4th army over. And I want to Holy War, and then call in Ansbad. Medjugorje does not really need to be called in. Okay. Send them in. Strings. So many sorrow mains. Fear and Loathing in Ketarata. Alright. Oh, no, those guys can deal with it. These guys can come right here. Tech-wise, we are similar. Missionary Strength, Religious Unity. Alright. Let's do war enemies, discipline, they outdo us, morale, they definitely do not outdo us. Okay. We can go here, we'll get another one, go there. Not that. They can come down south. These guys can all gather up because we are going to here. Oh, bastard. They can come here. Ooh, I didn't like that. Don't like that much attrition. Yep, take that, go. Just want to make sure that these armies aren't overlapping too long. Am I getting yearly professionalism? Yes. Okay, so for them I want these, obviously. And then ideally much longer. For army reformer. Oh, I don't want to do that. Horutep is a good student. I'll spend whatever it takes. Edgerbar. Yes, thank you. Might as well take the slaves to Ansbad. Might as well take slaves to and there will no longer be such a thing as a Sandfang Knoll. And that's a beautiful thing. 39 months. How long till this is done? 4. And there. Done. Carry on the legacy. Shit, I forgot. Should have an admiral on him. Been helpful. Why will you not surrender? Because they are not wonderfully smart. Gold rush. Alright. Let me pay the loan off. 5,000 gold. Damn. Shit is expensive. 5% province war score cost will probably result in the extra provinces. And alright, we have enough slaves. Ramratan, the Holy Road. Okay. What's our army tradition like? 83. Makes sense. See how they feel after this. A lot worse. One more month should probably do it. More months. 29. We're still good. Ship trade power. Yep, that's great. Yeah, half warps are fine. Okay. So that is everyone in the Navy who is not a trade ship gets to go that way. These guys aren't even terrible generals. We are just simply that much better than them. Excellent. Good. Let me check where the highway is. Sarand, Golden Highway, Golden Highway, Golden Highway. Golden Highway, yeah, Golden Highway follows that. Groups. Golden Highway there, Golden Highway here, here. Okay, so it comes like that. Then we don't care so much about those. Right. Golden Highway. Okay, so it is those. It is Vicen is also one. Makes it much cheaper. Let's concentrate there, there. Can't do anything here. Alright. That actually won't be that bad, shockingly enough. Where's my unrest map mode? Yeah, it's really not even that big of a deal. Which is crazy. That'll be more of an issue, but... Can't really fight Irolim right now, because... Oh, Horutep, Emperor of Null kind. We are proud to be Null. Our fur is rich and our fangs are sharp. We can build great things from scraps that others cast off, and we can run for days across the empty plains. We are great in many ways, but of all things great, we are, the most important is loyal. And Null was loyal to a leader of his pack. We were loyal to the pack because there were other Nulls to conquer which sought to conquer us. Now there are no more Nulls to conquer, and so there are no more packs. And yet, a Null is loyal. We are not loyal to our pack leaders, but to our Emperor. We are loyal to you, O Emperor. Okay. And then they can sit. Convenience. Alright, what are we looking like over here? Let me study magic as a ruler with evocation. Our ships over here. Unless you have that. Build a bunch of tax buildings. Oh, we can build manufactories now. Increase our wealth to even greater heights. Alright, let me check where's my autonomy map mode? 21, 20, yeah. 26, 21, 70. -3. Alright, let me give My mages reduced research regulations. All these null provinces should be pretty loyal. And they are. Okay, you can go send these guys this way. This would be a good province to pull for, just make our borders a little bit nicer. What would be the best income-wise? 33. Which one was 88? This one. Alright, next time we get an admin infusion, I'll do that. Is Krathenor... Yeah, they're attacking Sarand directly. Alright. One of the few that's actually kind of bad. Okay, if I was to attack Krathenor, I could get so many provinces out of them. Is one of these a gold province? Nope. They're just super high dev. Is there anyone else I want to culture convert? Yeah, let's do this. That way we can just get rid of the tiny little Sadmatu culture. We'll get them, and then we'll get South Shoran. Son of Horutep, 5 cities of Ketarata. Let's expand the modassi. Okay, we're gonna have to do one of these. We get advisor cost. Now we can restrict foreign trade. What's wrong with our cash? Army maintenance went way up. I can stop doing that. Right. Paid gold. And we're transferring here. Let me get rid of some of these ports, I think. Should help the income a little bit. Let's stay. I'll get rid of this one. Even though it had a rampart. That one. Yeah, this one can deal with that as well. Nephicet. Separatist. Minor inconvenience. Prominent Ahati. Almost done with Knolls. Alrighty. Alright. Conversion is being worked on, which is lovely. Oh, it's a little bit late for the work uprising to be happening. Okay. Looking good. We can do K. Or Dromaz, I suppose. Well, they would actually be willing to give me military access, which is pretty cool. Then we want to split them in half. Go right there. To take that, go right here. I did lose a fight. I'll take that small amount of corruption. Right here. Yeah, we probably need more ships. Here. A find. Give me a null, please. I would have very much liked, yes. Go ahead and get that up to 2. Bare minimum. Okay, this one can move down to get out of the way. And what I want is obviously the Dromas Peninsula, and then Kumarkand, and something a little more like this. So how is the slave project? How far south does it go? Oh, it just goes along the... yeah, makes sense. Alright, there we are. Send them this way. I actually am gonna have this army sit over here. That way it's somewhat close to both of my armies. Production efficiency. Okay, it's a good bit of extra money. Where's the Inquisitor? Yeah, we do need an Inquisitor, actually. Which is, okay, that's the one that's gonna take forever to get done. what we want. Alright. Oh, damn. They have a terrible sense of timing. Hey. Hey, Arnon. Bye, Arnon. Yes, missionary strength. I want to go ahead and get them up to level 2. Do that. Split them in half. This is a forest province, so... Yep, there it is. I don't think that's that much of a big ask. This is basically just kicking them out of Bulwark proper. Yeah. Plus a little bit more. Maybe... Anything I could do. I assume protecting trade, yeah, too much to be worth rating, sorry. Yeah, there's about to be rebels over here, so we will simply chill out. Basically just waiting on this one right now. Shipyard, regiment camp. Yeah, courthouse, got that. I need so much money. Grathanor basically doesn't have any manpower left. This is like most of their army over here. Late to liturgical party, whatever. Alright. Still not willing to surrender. That's fine with me. They want to do this the hard way? It's their funeral. Let's see. You're not good at this whole Navy thing. That's why we fight on the land. That's where all the real fighting is. Oh, sorry, tabbed out. All these are nearly done. Alright. That. Upgrade the ships. Go to 25. All that done. Come back. Oh yeah, study magic, ruler, evocation. And after this, we want to upgrade our magical infrastructure. Nope, not that. These guys, step over here. The light ships, you can protect trade and the Mother Sorrow. Yeah, reduce overextension, that's just 50 free admin pretty much. Okay. Is there anything I can do? I'm almost maxed out on slaves. Actually, these guys can go privateer in... They have lines. I will take my galleys and raid the fuck out of them. 83 ducats for free. 12 ducats for free. Let's see how many, but I assume there's quite a lot of ducats for free. $71 ducats for free. 11 ducats for free. Have all these been raided? No, they have not. Alright, first these galleys need to actually, like, be prepared. And they can go protect trade in the Mother Sorrow. Okay, yeah, we did give them private trade fleets. And here we can go and... What was I doing? Yes. New legions. 50,000, 1,000 ducats, and 100 slaves. Cavalry, movement speed. Let's do the Carrion Legion. Oh, we finished our, the Abyssal Gold Mine. Temple of the Two for an extra missionary. Granary. Grand Pyramid of Horutep. Let's do... The entire Akasik region can become nullish. That could be fun. Although, this is probably what we want to do. Carrion Legion. My lovely legions. They're I think, similar to, what's it called? To what, Castronor gets. Okay, they need to deal with these. Raid. 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 Not ideal, raid. Don't get anything raiding there. Oh, I could get a little bit. Yeah, let me get 20 transports, I guess. We're gonna have to invade the Vizambeat at some point. So. State. Get loads of money. Let's go. And then we need to send the galleys back here. Is there anyone I can convert to a modassi? Convert to a modassi. I'd like to convert them. A number of stewardship reforms. Unlock the Enlightening of the Law and Peak of Civilization. Still waiting for that province. Yeah. Yeah, these can all come off. They're pretty much done. Damn. Fuck. Forget. There is a extra slot, so you can spare the mana. Yeah, I can do that eventually. I'd like to turn them into a satrapy. I cannot. Obviously, I can't do it here either. 320 mandate. to do that. Terrible idea, but I wanted to do that before anyone got any silly ideas. Maybe we'll go grab all that stuff from Usalar, though. Alright. Where's our trader? No. We want a trader. I'll go up to 3. We've done bunch either espionage, trade, or admin. Everyone, you are gonna give me Diplo so I can do my trade ideas and take all of the money in the universe. Alright. $17 months. Alright. That is final Sandfang. And we'll convert that one over to the correct religion. Alrighty. What's that? Yes. These guys here. And then they need to go back to protecting trade in the Mother Sara, Orcish Utopia, and the Athelai. Doubt it. They're orcs. Okay, head that way, and we want that. We can get a second level 3 center of trade. A little bit. Busanor, it's non-tributary subjects. Okay. Moving closer slowly. King of Halan, formalize Modassi legions, lessons of Horutep. And then we want that. And 2 more infantry here. 2 more, 2 more. here. We want to transfer trade. Gonna start getting very rich, hopefully. So here's the galleon fleet. 35 galleons. I don't want to fight it out. Alright, manpower. Yeah, 32. Do that for stability's sake. Actually want all that much from Busilar at the moment. If I declared war on them, I would be fighting a couple people. Slave edict. Oh. Alright, how... Zortas. That's pretty far down, isn't it? Yep. Which longer is the truce? 5 more years. That's not bad. And do that. Now we can go ahead and go to the Merchant's Guild. Take that out. Alright. All good. And we can get yet another merchant. We have the most trade power there. That's 20. Trade power. It's not really giving us much. I'd rather have the merchant. Okay, so we have one here, we have one here, we have one here. You have one here. Okay, so I am going to declare for that. Yeah, I can do that. Alrighty. That extra stability for the extra mandate generation. In the year 1619, the holy road Ramaton was dedicated in the name of Nikad Horutep. As the sorrow winds, so does the holy road follow the banks of the greatest work of Niraket. As the Sara bursts over its banks and enriches the field, so too does the holy road enrich the holy land, the greatest work of Elkahet. As you were called to walk along the holy road, so too are we all called to worship the Ket. As this road stands, so too shall Konolkhatep. I will be done. Alright. We want to come here and do this one. Yeah, because that's, I think, along the coast of the Divinal, I believe. Is it? Zeekmon. Okay. So that goes all the way down there, which gives us a bunch of trade power. And then it's fine. Persana's good, as it is. So we have 25 heavies versus their 13, or 29 galleys. That's good. You just kind of suck at fighting. Yeah, that'd probably be why. I can go stand in Kunalo. I should have enough to sustain my soldiers, and I'll go sit in Gamyi. Or I can just divide them in half. Could be good as well. that extra hedonism. Corvaria doesn't care anymore. They shouldn't. It's never their business what we did in Bulwar. Lacking provinces. It will be fine, though. It's only 8 war score. Come on, guys. Over there where we can link up with the rest of our fleet when it's built. So this way. Get over here and smash this fleet. Trade power. Let's build one right there. Hey, Horutep is careful. That's kind of cool. What else can we do? Irolum. Is Sarand truce up yet? No, we got 3 years. Okay. This way. And what else can we get? Admin efficiency, governing capacity, and admin policy. We don't need any of that, so we will not bother. We will, however, be fantastically wealthy once we can get our trade ideas done, because we can get an extra 25% goods produced, which is kind of crazy. Ancient tome. Get it myself. Truce with Wind Tower has ended. Alright. So we officially have the correct amount of war score. Some naval combat width. 60. Okay. Evocation, experience. Upgrade the magical infrastructure. I want to be able to use magic all the time. Yeah. That probably would have been useful, and I totally forgot about it. Incredible pleasure barge on the move. Extra mandate. Let's go. Don't know what that means. Yeah, for now that's fine, actually. Alrighty. And with that... Slave Edict in Horutep. 20 new governors. This one. Magnanimate. There's this edict in 5 years. To loyal Ketaratans. Okay. Horutep is merciful. After the cleaving of Ketarata, the modassi of Horushesh betrayed their mother, either openly defying her or making a show of their apparent loyalty to her, only to use her name in the increase of personal power, but such modassi will be given a chance. Horutep is clement. Those that bend the knee will be welcomed again into the mother's embrace, for every sin forgiven. But Horutep is no fool. Spurn this last chance, and the full might of his fist will crush your pitiful state into a burning pile of rocks. Okay. What are we looking like? That's a lot of Horketis. And we can go do this. Alright. These guys can go march here. And here. And I will take half of these guys and march them over. Assume it's a Disu. No, it's not. Oh, my commandant. Discipline. Okay. So awesome. Destroy the cult. Each burning seed is nurtured by sprawling roots. Simply pruning the tree is eternal madness. Horutep's word declared a single intention: to drag the Zabacolt from the shadows and put an end to their seething demon worshippers once and for all. If our recent reports are true, the Zabacolt schemes not only among the whipped knoll packs hiding in the mountains and deserts, but even beneath the ancient streets of Dashak, Eka, and Kasa. Truly, the chromodomic homeland fumes with demonic rot. The protectors of Ketarata stand before Akasik's boundary, his divine gaze turned towards his assembled host. No more cautions or dissent against blood to be spilled. With a single nod, his chosen legion descends, felling the tree, tearing its roots, and bringing light to the decay. With staff in hand, Horutep approaches the squat encampment at the head of his legion. It features a collection of houses, a pirate at center, and a collection of gnolls calling themselves a cult, though not much of one. Indeed, this cult was unnoteworthy in every way except one. It was the last cult. As he had done so many times before, Horutep himself led the charge against the ramshackle gate, which caved inwards after a mere 3 good hits with the battering ram. In the center of the encampment was a gnoll whose eyes burned with green fire, and the encampment's warriors behind him. The flame-marked one began to speak to Horutep. What was it saying? It was some dialect Horutep couldn't make out. No matter, Horutep separated the poor wretch's head from his shoulders with a well-placed fireball. The soldiers of the flame-marked gnoll began gibbering in that odd dialect, and about half of them broke for the hills. From experience, Horutep knew the cavalry would be able to chase them down before they could regroup. The remainder of the gnolls began a charge at Horutep, as if they hadn't just watched their leader be incinerated. Did they really think he was out of fireballs? Horutep disabused them of that notion swiftly. From there, the assault was a mere matter of hunting down the cowards and stragglers of the encampment and treating what injuries Horutep's forces had incurred. This time, the injuries amounted to 4 injured gnolls, 1 in the right flank cohorts, who didn't follow their commander's orders and were punished by the enemy for it. With luck, they would make a swift recovery. As the support regiments burned the last cult to the ground, Horutep was struck with a sense of sadness. Was this all the ancient enemy of the Ket could amount to? Okay, so advancements. Definitely want to do that. I think I'll convert someone to a modassi. Oh, damn. Creative Defiance. And we gotta do that one. And then this guy can run back over here. Alrighty, let's go. Missionary strength. Goods produced. Let's watch the income shoot up. 40 extra ducats. Ooh, wonderful. Okay. I think absolutism might be a lost cause. Enchantment. Art strength, command animal, stop weave. Chanting embassy, illusion. Yeah, we can just build a university there. House of Horrors, whatever. Rahan privateers. carry on the legacy. Oh, this army needs to move over this way. Sarand does not look like they are feeling good these days. This menu. Okay. Transferring there, transferring there, transferring there. Really need to transfer that one. Transferring here. $36. Okay, we're starting to make money the way I like. Okay, so in terms of nations we're gonna have to fight. We're gonna have to fight Eberthiel, Vern, Pearl's Edge, and Busalar again. It is unfortunate, but it is the way it is. Yeah. And then I wanted to do this. That's easy. Oh wait, that flows. In that case, let me get rid of Benoit. It's 173 to 234. Okay, yeah. Okay. Modassi. To Modassi. Okay. Still working on the devastation. Alright, that gets rid of the loan debuff. Alright. We will declare for... They do not have enough men to really fight us anymore. And it's 63,000, that's like one army. Also, I am going to make sure to establish another legion and see what I can get. Conversion, alright. Legion. Discipline is great. Zealous. I do not like corruption. It is quite unfortunate. Even with terrible rolls, we're doing great. Alright, we can real quickly... fight Irolim. Oh, Samigesh. I forgot Samigesh has Buddy now. Sarand has been sieged. How much mana can we possibly store? I'd actually rather do lead the crowds. A Grand Granary. National supply limit. Alright. What's next? Exploitation of Akasik. I mean, that would make us obscenely... Let's do High Temple of the Two. No modassi. Renowned Architect of the Dunes. O Horutep, renowned Architect of the Dunes, the desert is full of wonders that could only have come from your mind, just as the hopes and dreams of Konolkhatep spring from your drafting compass. When the pilgrims, merchants, and tourists of far-off land come to marvel at your miracles, they carry part of Konolkhatep home with them. Just as it could be said that the pyramids and temples you have built are of the highest expression of the culture of Konolkhatep, it could also be said that your great buildings created the culture of Konolkhatep. To say you bear a nation on your soldier is trivial to the point of mundanity. But where you are venerated for your rule as a soldier, scholar, merchant, or mage, it is not often remarked upon that your buildings have made pursuits possible at all. When your people gaze upon the works of Konolkhatep, let them thank you. That is an extra admin point. Alright, and from them we want all of these. Oh, tabbed out. Why are they even allied with Tornan? Okay. What should I do with all of this money? I guess... should probably actually work on the temple, or the Pyramid of Elkahet. Harvest failure. Alright. And we can come right here and hit lead the crowds. Development, 22 development. All right. And Golden Highway and Bulwark proper. Alright. I don't need slaves. More proper. Steward of the Sorrow cannot vassalize its satrapies. But what does that mean? And we can come here and improve relations with them. Warden of the Pyramid. Oh, Horutep, Warden of the Pyramid, who would a god call to defend his legacy? There could be no other answer than you, O Horutep. For no one other than you could stand vigilant for eternity. Of course, vigilance can come in many forms. Your royal guards defend the Pyramid of Elkahet day and night, but it's just as important to make sure the legacy of Elkahet does not fade elsewhere. You know this as well in your unparalleled wisdom, and this is undoubtedly the reason why the Sorrow is dotted with great temples dedicated to the Ket built under your glorious rule. The people of Ketarata worship in their new temples. They cry out in praise to your name, not just because you have elevated Ket to grand new heights under your rule, but because they understand that in doing so, you have sworn to protect all of Konolkhatep. Well, we have a decent amount of the names done. Alright, that is good. Bulwar is swiftly being brought under our enlightened rule, which is wonderful. And then Tan Snap, First Religion. Yeah, we gotta do that. to modassi. Alright. Do not love that I had to spend mandate doing that, but it's fine. Is there anyone else who can be converted to modassi? I would really like to convert Samigeisha. Or Sasarumbat, sorry. The last thing I want to do is... Alright, that's done. Inflation, whatever. Rebuild the highway. Alright. Establish satrapy. What's our dynasty name? Warden of the Pyramid. Oh, it just changes every time. Wish we could pick ours. Slaves from the east. Hey, Damascus. Name. Damascus. Separatists. Yep, that's whatever. Alright, slave projects. We're doing fine. No modassi. Expand the modassi system. Mission. In the year 1628, the great storm road Zeetman was dedicated in the name of Nakad Horutep. As the Sorrow flows along the Ketarata, so does the storm road flow along the sea of the shores of the Divanal. As the Sorrow's great anger floods the land, so too does the sea of the storm road furiously crash onto its beaches. As you are amazed by the Divanal's wrath along the storm road, so too are we amazed by the power and glory of the Ket. At this road stands forever, so too shall Konolkhatep. Alright. And we can do the Song Road. Okay, so that's Horushesh. And this is also Horushesh. This should be a quicker one, though. Oh, and they also occupy. Yeah, that's fun. We will do Mountain Road. Truce. Not truce there. Not truce there. Trade that. And in terms of trade, need These guys can privateer in Everfield. Already reduced it. Yeah, privateer efficiency. Zero, 92, 97. Nine, 203. Okay. And as for that, how long till Busolar? 28. When I fight them, I kind of would like to expand the modassi. Konolkhatep, Fangiola. Build that. And convert to modassi. Damascus. Alright. The system of modassi has served Ketarata's interest for millennia as means of granting the realm a safe buffer from external threats, as well as influence over lands that would otherwise be too remote or distant to govern and defend directly. Horutep's eyes now gaze on a system as old and dysfunctional as an unhappy elven marriage. The waves of corruption and chaos have left an institutional mess, with some modassi forced to help manage vast swaths of land barraged by troll and wizard folk on the outside, with rebels and stubborn kings internally. While others are set to help rule singular cities, where the full scope of their tiny realms can be seen from their lofty bedrooms' many windows. This will not do for Horutep. By reorganizing the modassi to cover larger domains instead of just assigning modassi to whatever puny or turbulent realms that might already exist. These realms can better serve the purpose of protecting from outside threats and projecting power without the need of expensive garrisons. With larger modassi comes the need for larger governors. Gnollish governors can help better rule these lands in a manner distant but familiar enough to old Gnollish tribal clans. Any human modassi that might object needs to be reminded that although Gnolls have changed to worship Ket, they continue to be edible to unhappy masters. Alright. So we get so very many. A barking of orders might never have been so literal with past dynasties. Gnollish yelps, howls, and chirps cut through the sound of battle as clear as glass, but the ears of our poor human subjects can struggle to understand our laconic tongue. Horutep has concluded that we must formalize the teaching of our language and stick to pronunciations most agreeable to our human subjects as to greatly improve our command of the battlefield. Horutep has so wisely seen that we can learn from the humans themselves. Our historians, merchants, and our many soldiers have learned of the more structured and disciplined nature of human armies that we can build off of. We cannot lead a civilization such as this with a monstrous rabble, but with grand legions of Gnoll and human together. The organization of these troops on the field can too help build much of the needed trust and camaraderie between our peoples. If they can work together on the battlefield, then surely they can do in the field and the marketplace. Horutep stood in front of his legion, his fur dyed a brilliant red, and began to pace their ranks one last time. For once he could find no fault in their formation. Were it not for their different heights of soldiers, they would appear identical. Each of them stood like statues. Their armor was polished so thoroughly it appeared to glow. Horutep resumed his place at the front of the formation and raised his staff in the air. Legions of Horutep, a new campaign begins. The legions gave a mighty roar. You have trained to your limits and beyond. If you had imperfections, they have been smoothed. You have smoothed them. If you had fears, your commanders have beaten them out of you. If you had worries, then let me say this to you now. None but the Ket know which of you shall live and which of you shall die, but I can promise you one thing. The square was already silent, but the silence deepened as every man in the square focused on Horutep's next words. If you do not return as a corpse, you will return as a hero. The men were trained to perfection, but they were not made of stone. The wounds with spears pounded them on the ground, the cavalrymen reared up on their mounts, and the ones with only their voices sang the anthems of legion with a pride fit to burst. Horutep marched onwards to the land beyond the city. For the rest of the day, all he heard was the footfalls of an army in perfect time behind him. Okay. Yeah. Alright, slave projects. None of them. Alright, I think that is where I'm going to end this episode. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.